Hello students, welcome to the online teaching session of Academic World School Bimitra. Today we are again with the class 12th physics. The topic is electric charge and field. This is the 6th lecture in continuation and continuing from electric dipole. Today we will see what is the torque value on the electric dipole kept in a uniform electric field. I hope you are following all my videos. So take out your notebooks and start the topic torque on an electric dipole. You all know in our previous video I have told you what is electric dipole. Dipole means two charges of equal and opposite sign. Okay. So when such a dipole which is having one plus and one minus charge, can you tell me what will be the direction of the dipole moment? Minus to plus. The sign of dipole is always from negative to positive and the distance is taken equal to 2a. The charge is minus q and plus q. Okay, so if such any dipole is kept in a uniform magnetic field, a uniform electric field like this, then due to that electrostatic field there will be force on these two charges. Now depending on the sign, the force is different. This side the force is QE, whereas the force on this one charge is just anti-parallel. It is QE but opposite in sign, minus. Okay, so the two forces are acting on the two charges. They are in opposite directions. Now such a force on any object, okay, so net force on dipole is QE plus minus QE is equal to 0. So total force acting on the dipole is 0. Because of that, translatory motion will not be there. This dipole as a whole will not go forward or backward. It will remain in its place. But there is a separation between the two forces. If I draw the diagram is like such. So the diagram is two forces F1 and minus F1 and they are at a distance of AB. If B is charged, then distance is AC. Now what is the distance between AB? It is 2A and the twisting angle is theta. So this side will be 2A sin theta. Arm AC is equal to 2A sin theta. Such a force which is acting at some distance with each other, this is called a couple or torque. So to measure the torque, we have to take either of the force F and multiply it by the distance between the perpendicular distance between two forces. So torque is equal to force multiplied by perpendicular distance, that is QE into 2A sin theta. QE is the force and 2A sin theta is the separation. So So now torque is equal to QE into 2A sine theta. Now you all know that 2A QE sine theta, 2AQ can be written as dipole moment. Dipole moment is P, which is equal to 2A into Q. Distance into charge. So in place of this I will substitute P. So this is P into E into sine theta is equal to torque. This torque is a vector. Torque is a vector and it has a direction. So the direction, when I say it is a vector, then I can say torque is equal to P into E into sine theta. Sine theta component is always measured by cross, is a resultant of cross product. So we can say it is P vector multiplied by E vector. This is equal to tau. Tau is equal to P cross E. Now you must be interested in knowing the direction of this torque. Always remember the right hand rule, the product of the two vectors. Now this is P and this is E. So it will be in perpendicular to both of them. Okay. So it will be right hand thumb rule. I multiply P with E. Okay. Inside. It is P and E, so it is towards negative z axis inside of the board. Okay, this is your torque. Torque is on the inner side of the board. You curl your hand in the direction of P, then E. So where is P vector? P is this one. And where is E vector? E is the red line. Okay. So when you curl your finger from P to E, where is your thumb pointing? Inside. That's why I have taken it minus z axis. Okay. So this is the derivation of torque on the electric dipole. I hope you have noted it down. So now the most interesting things now we are going to proceed in these topics in electrostatic, and they are the electric field lines. They are imaginary lines. Electric field lines are imaginary lines, but their pattern help us to know what is the direction of the electric field and what is the nature, where is electric field strong, where is electric field weak. All these ideas can be only understood by the help of electric field lines. So first we will understand how these electric field lines look like. If you have a positive charge, then the electric field lines will emerge out perpendicular to the surface like this. They will come out perpendicular to the surface. This is the electric field line of a positive charge. But if the charge is a negative charge, then what will happen? The electric field lines, they will come towards and terminate on the charge. It will happen again perpendicular only. They are all terminating on the negative charge perpendicularly. Okay. So a positive charge will have emerging type of, this diverging type of electric field line. Okay. electric field lines. One more name is there for this electric field line. They are also called line of forces, electric line of force. How that direction of force is known, I will tell you after drawing these diagrams. So first you draw the diagram for a single isolated positive charge, a negative charge. Then there can be for one positive and one more positive. If two positive similar charges, if two similar charges are kept close to each other, then what kind of electric field line is possible? In this case, the electric field lines will be like this. They will be repelled by each other. So this side they emerge perpendicular, but later on they are pushed back. They emerge, but they are pushed back like this. Similarly, from this charge also, okay. So this kind of line of force you will observe when the charges taken are similar. Similar charge means plus and plus. If it is minus minus, the only difference will come, that is all these lines will be terminating on the charge object. Rest similar. Okay. So for similar charge, I have told you for positive, for negative and for two similar charges. Let us see for dissimilar. Okay. If one of them is negative, so what will be the pattern of the electric field lines? Let us see. The electric field lines, in that case, one positive and one negative. Now if one positive and one negative are brought together, then its electric field lines will be disturbed, and first of all one line will be starting from positive and terminating at negative. Then there will be some more lines like this. They will emerge out from here perpendicular, and later on they will terminate. Some of them will be like this. This side also some lines. Okay. So this is the nature of the electric line of force when two dissimilar charges are kept in close to each other. You must be asking that if the charge is not a point charge, in that case what will happen? In such case, if suppose I have got a plate, this is a plate, and this plate has got everywhere positive charge in it. Now, you know positive charge will always emit the electric field lines. So field lines will be going on both sides. Understood? Okay. So learn to draw the electric field lines due to these kind of charged objects. There are some properties of these electric field lines. So please note down the properties of electric field lines. or electric line of force. Okay. Properties of electric line of force. The most basic property, okay, the line of forces always originate from the positive charge. The line of force always originate from the positive charge and terminate at the negative charge. Number 2, they are continuous and closed lines. The lines are always continuous. So if it is starting from plus, it will terminate at negative. Okay. Number 3, the tangent drawn at any point on the line gives the direction of electric field. Okay, so if you have any line like this, so here if you draw one tangent, this is the direction of electric field at point A, whereas here at point B the tangent is this one, so this is the direction of electric field at B. So tangent to the line will give you the direction. Tangent gives the direction. Okay, and the fourth is no two lines intersect, or you can say they never intersect. They never intersect each other. So two lines cannot intersect. This is not possible. If two electric field lines are there, and the rule is they will never intersect. Suppose you say it is intersecting. That means what? Here there will be two directions of electric field, which is against the theory. At a point there can be only one direction of electric field. So it is not possible for two electric field lines to intersect. So these are the properties of electric line of forces. Okay. Now we come to flux, or to be more correct, electric flux. What is electric flux? The electric flux means the number of electric line of forces passing perpendicular to any unit area or any specified area, not necessarily unit area, it can be in a given area also. Okay, so as I told you, there is electric field line. So every charge will be giving out its electric field line. Let us say there is some charge here, due to which this kind of electric field lines are here. Okay, and if I take one area here, then the number of lines which are coming out perpendicular from this surface can be like this also, in another plane or in another plane. So depending on the nature of the area and depending on the orientation of this plane, this can be different, the flux can be different. If it is vertically perpendicular to this, more number of lines will be passing through this. So therefore we will understand one more term, and that is area vector. Okay, so first we will understand flux. What is flux? Note down: the number of electric line of force passing through any specified area or surface in the electric field which are passing perpendicular to the given surface, which are passing perpendicular to the given surface is known as electric flux. Okay. The symbol of flux is phi. Electric flux. So, how to measure this electric flux? For that, we will first understand one term that is called area vector and area. Let us say this is one closed surface and it has got this area here. Okay. So the area will be like this. This area may be having any orientation in this three-dimensional space. Depending on that, we have to understand that what is the orientation of this area. So from this surface, we will take one perpendicular line. This is area vector. The line perpendicular to the given area in any direction will be always fixed. This is called area vector. One unit vector along this is n. So you can say ds vector is equal to ds, the area, into n vector. N vector is the unit vector of the area. Okay. Let's understand in more detail like this. If this is the area. So area is delta S. Okay. So perpendicular to this surface, the area vector, this is your ds. The area of this is delta S. So ds divided by delta S is equal to n cap. Okay. ds is your area vector. So area vector has got a direction, and the magnitude of area vector divided by the area is equal to a unit vector. So this is unit area vector. N. This is also denoted by ds n cap. Okay. So write down the definition of area vector. Area vector is a vector perpendicular to any given area having magnitude equal to the area of this surface in direction perpendicular to the area. It has a direction. So what will be flux? Flux will be any area, and in that area if there are magnetic electric field lines passing like this. Okay, so take the area vector ds and the electric field is this. So electric field and area vector. Okay. The component of electric field perpendicular to the ds vector will be perpendicular. This is ds. Rub it. ds. So flux will be the perpendicular component of electric field into ds, E cos theta into ds vector. So you can write it as E ds cos theta, or phi is equal to E dot ds. This is a flux. So write flux, electric flux is equal to phi E, which is equal to E ds cos theta or E dot ds. Theta is the angle between these two. The angle between electric field and ds vector is called theta. So dear students, electric flux is the number of electric field lines which are passing through any area. Now, if any charge has been taken inside, suppose I have a box like this. Okay, I have a box in the cuboid, and inside this if I have kept one charge, that charge will be producing the electric field lines, and those lines will be coming out from all these faces. So total number of electric field lines that will come out will be the total lines coming out from this surface. So if I can measure from any surface what is the number of lines, and then by integrating it over the whole surface, I can find out the total flux. Total flux. What is meant by total flux? Total flux means all the electric field lines that are coming out from that charge. Okay. So for that I have to integrate. Imagine this is one surface and this is a closed surface. Inside there is some charge, due to which some lines, electric field lines are coming, and this is the area vector ds. So from here the small amount of flux which is produced, let it be delta phi. So what is delta phi? Delta phi is equal to electric field at this point E1 into ds at this point S1, ds1, because this surface is here. Here I have got some flux, that is phi 1. So total flux will be delta phi 1 plus delta phi 2 plus delta phi 3, like this. I can imagine that this whole surface is made by n number of surfaces by compilation. So total flux will be the sum total of all the flux which are emerging out from this surface. Delta phi n. Let there be n small surfaces. Okay, so as I told you, delta phi 1 is E1 dot ds1. So I will write E1 dot ds1. Similarly, phi 2 will be E2 dot ds2. Let it be somewhere here. This is your ds delta s2. So here the area vector is ds2 and electric field value is E2. So delta phi 2 is your E2 dot ds2, like this. So keep adding E3 ds3 area vector, they are all vectors, don't forget, like this. So net flux will be the sum of all this. I can write it as statistical sign sigma from I equal to 1 to I equal to n for EI dot DSI. Both are vectors. So this is your formula for the total flux. The total flux is sigma EI DSI. Between them there is a dot product, that is EDS cos theta. So this is how you will be able to calculate total flux. For the total flux, Gauss has given one theorem, and that theorem will be studying in the next class. Actually, Gauss said that total flux is the charge divided by epsilon, and here we have proved it is EDS. So E dot ds is equal to Q by epsilon. This is the Gauss theorem, which I will be proving with you in my next class. Okay, so note down all these units and be ready. Come with a little pre-study about the Gauss theorem and application that will help you to understand this beautiful theorem. Thank you. And assignments, most importantly, the assignments are being uploaded in the assignments are being uploaded in the ERP, and I request you to positively submit it in due time. Thank you, students.